Hi guys, and thanks for joining me for today's YouTube guitar lesson. In this lesson I'd like to talk about 6 chords, major 6 chords and minor 6 chords. For each of the 2 types of 6 chords I'm going to show you 2 inversions, one with the root on the low E string, one with the root on the low A string. If you'd like to get the tab and notation for any of the chord groups that I'm going to show you, just look in the description box for this lesson and you'll see a link to an article on the website, and that is everything we're going to be talking about in today's lesson in both tab and notation. There's also some audio examples there and some etudes of the things that I'm talking about, so I really recommend kind of using the website as well as the video lesson here. So let's get zoomed in and let's check out how to play major and minor 6 chords. The first type of 6 chords that we're going to be looking at are major 6 chords, and now these are very similar to major 7s. In fact, there's only one note difference. If we just play a G major 7 based around the 3rd position of the guitar neck, root on the 6th string, 7th on D, 3rd on G, and then 5th on the B string, that's the G major 7 chord that I assume most of you will be quite familiar with. To make that into a 6 chord, all we do is find the 7th, F sharp, and lower it to the 6th. To do this we have to kind of re-finger things a bit now. We have to play the 6th with the 1st finger, the 3rd with the 4th finger, 5th with the 3rd finger, and then the root with the 2nd finger, and that's a G major 6 chord. Hopefully you can see what I did there. All I did was amend this G major 7, found the major 7th, and then brought it down to the 6th degree of the scale, the major 6 chord. Now these major 6 chords are really good for like big band style comping or western swing style comping. And I've actually written out a short etude there on my website, which is very similar to what I just played. Very similar, in fact. Actually, I started with a G major 6 chord, and then I went to the C6 chord, and then I just did a 2-5-1 in G. And again, you can get the tab and notation of that if you go on the website. So with these 6 chords, major 6 chords, there's basically 2 inversions that I like to use quite frequently. There is more, but just to get you started, I'll just show you 2 for each 6 chord type in this lesson. So that's the first one. Another one I like to use is kind of up here like this, and that's the root with the small finger, 3rd, then the 6th, and then I've got the root again. That's another nice 6 chord that you can use when you're comping. And all I was doing there is I was switching between G major 6 and C major 6, which is the same grip that I used there. I've just moved it up to the 8th position. G6 and then C6, and then I think I just did a 2-5-1 in G. So they're the 2 major 6 chords that a lot of guys like to use. I would suggest playing through these in different keys all over the neck. Both of the grips actually, and try to incorporate them in some of the progressions that you use. They work quite well in place of major 7 chords if you want kind of a more, I don't know, maybe a swing type of sound in your comping. They work quite well to use instead of that, and you know, they work great when you mix them in 2-5-1 situations. That's something I like to do quite often, is I like to get the major 7th and then go to the major 6. Kind of have that inner moving line there. It's a really cool thing that you can do. As well as, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you as well, this major 6 chord shape. If we just take the 2 inner notes of this shape, the 6th and the 3rd, you can actually move this up the neck and it becomes kind of cool other things that are related to G. So that's the G major 6. If we move these 2 notes up to the 5th and the 7th, we can put a B on the bottom there. That's actually a G triad inversion with the third in the bass. B, G, B. It's kind of a cool movement you can do. And to extend that further, you can actually take this two-note shape again and move it to 9 and 11, which is 3rd and 7th of the G major 7th chord, and then put the 5th on the bass. So that gives you 3 really cool G inversions. I mean, they're not all G major 6, obviously the first one is a G6, but then we have a triad inversion and then a major 7th inversion. But you know, guitarists like to mix and match these kind of chord types anyway, as long as it is some kind of a G chord. So that's one thing you can use there. So let's move on to minor 6 chords now. If we get this major 6 chord again, this G major 6 chord which I just showed you a minute ago, all we need to do to make this into a minor 6 chord is actually just flatten the 3rd, B there, let's make that into a B flat. That will give you a minor 6 chord. And I actually like to bar these two notes together with the 3rd finger and get that kind of grip, a G minor 6 chord. And if anybody has ever heard Minor Swing by Django Reinhardt, a lot of guys like to use minor 6 chords there. That's actually an A minor 7, and then I think it goes to a D minor, so that kind of starts, and a lot of people like to start that progression with the minor 6, then go to D minor. Now minor 6 are really cool to use in minor 2-5-1 type of situations, because if we just play like a minor 2-5-1 in G minor, A half diminished, D7 flat 9, and then if we play G minor 7, that sounds cool, but if we play the same thing again with a minor 6, it sounds a bit more complete, that minor 6. The 7th of the G minor 7 always kind of sounds like it wants to fall down to a C7 and then to a 1 chord, but that minor 6, it sounds a little bit more complete. So a lot of guys like to use minor 6 in 2-5-1 type of situations instead of minor 7 chords. It's a really cool thing you can do. So that's one grip you can use for a minor 6 chord there. I'll just recap that again. 3 on the low E string, 2 on D, 3 on G and 3 on D. G minor 6. Another inversion that you might like to use for a minor 6 chord, it's a bit higher up on the neck. It actually starts on the 10th fret of the A string with a G note, then goes to the 8th fret of the D string, which is the B flat, the minor 3rd, E, which is the 6th, that's the 9th fret of G, and then we have the G again on the 8th fret of the B string. And that's a really nice minor 6 chord that you can use as well. As you can probably tell, if we go back to that major 6 chord, the 3rd has just been dropped. I've had to refinger it a bit there, and that's another really good one that you can use. So just to recap, really, we have 2 major 6 chord inversions, one with the root on the low E string and another with the root on the 5th string, and we have 2 minor 6 chords, one with the root on the low E string and another with the root on the A string. And it's great to use both of these because you know, you can connect them together and you don't have to worry about jumping up the neck if you kind of have an inversion with a root on the different string sets. So there are more major and minor 6 chord inversions, but hopefully these should get you started just for now. Thanks for checking out today's lesson on 6 chords. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you did like this lesson, please give this video a like, and if you subscribe to this channel, you'll get free access to all the future jazz and blues lessons that I post to you. So thank you again for checking out this lesson, and I hope to see you next time.